What is up, space gamers and everyone in between? I'm Astro Nesto, your bumbling space captain in this safe space for bad gameplay, bad roleplay, and general shenanigans. If you're in the States, I hope you're getting ready for Turkey Day. It's a big holiday here tomorrow. I know I'm personally not ready myself, but let's hope I'm not the big turkey tonight. Anyway, let's stick with Star Citizen again tonight, because it's IAE2952, that's right, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in Star Citizen, which is a free fly week event. Also the reason why I am streaming every day, and it's been a marathon. I'm not used to going this many nights, so we'll see if we can make it. But so far it's been good fun, made some good friends, and last night I really want to thank everybody who joined. Rustyman, who's out there in the audience now, and Shadow Girl, and Dan the Man, of course. Everybody who took me out on our little search and rescue expedition with the brand new medical Pisces, and you guys gave me a great lesson in being medic and the medical gameplay, so I really do appreciate that, and I'll have to get an edited version of that up there because it was just so much fun. Anyway though, what can I say? It's my favorite time of the year. I always like to explore the hall, so I hope to stop in, take a quick look at what's going on there and what's on display for us. We've got a few of the smaller vendors out. I believe, let's see what we got going on. We have Argo, Consolidated, Greycat, and Kruger behind my head, right? So should be a live one. Yeah, so I want to check out the hall with you guys. I'll give you guys my take on everything that I see there, but I also want your take. So let me know if I've got it right, or if there's anything I don't know, which, you know, there's a good chance that I may not know it all. But I like to have fun and basically take a look at everything with you guys, so let's do that. But before we do, speaking of fun, I want to know what's going on with my man, Jax McCleary. So let's get a Jax update.
Now, a local homesteader has kindly agreed to provide me with the parts I need for the cutter on the condition that I figure out what's wrong with his mole. Now, in my experience, these Argo beasts rarely break down, so it's anybody's guess what the issue is. Okay, let's see what we can see. Pretty good. Okay. All right. Okay. Almost got it. Oh! Well, I fixed it. The mole should run fine now. I do have some bad news, though. You got...
Oh my gosh. Well, again, last night, I'm really not sure where they're going with this storyline with Jax, but I'm learning a whole lot more about him, and he seems pretty resourceful. I know if I was out there hanging out with pirates, I just wouldn't be able to make it, but he's definitely given us a glimpse on what life on the frontier may be like, so is that what we have to expect when we get into Pyro? I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be more proficient at staying alive out there on the frontier by the time it's time for that. But anyway, let's go into the conference hall. I think my game's loaded in the back. All right, so IE day 6. We are starting it off with. Well, this is pretty interesting that they threw the Kruger ships like right here, right next to the burrito stand. It's a very odd decision, actually. But, you know, we'll go with it. So, these are the Merlins, right?
Yeah.
We got the P72 Archimedes and the P52 Merlin. So, let me see if memory serves me correctly. I think the Merlin is supposed to be like a light combat ship. It's, you know, relegated to just being a snub. These are both snubs. I don't think these guys have quantum, if I recall.
Fast, very renewable, and used for racing if you want to.
Yeah. Well, they're both good for racing, but I think the 52 is supposed to be like a little bit better armed. I know it's a snub for the, what is it, the Constellation? Phoenix? Might be for all Connies, right?
I mean, it's definitely better if you clap on the best stuff.
Yeah. There goes that music again. Alright, I'm just gonna have to turn off my game capture. This guy's like walking around with a boombox. It's the funniest thing. Anyway.
Definitely check out the mole. It's more further in.
Yeah, we'll get into the mole in a sec, because that's a lot of fun. Back in my mining days. It was a ton of fun. I really like the design of these, though, and if there's anything that, well, I could criticize Kruger for, well, it's a few things. These don't have, like, long range, so, I mean, they're really dependent on the snub ship, but Kruger needs more ships, and they need more swag. Like, you know, obviously they're a luxury brand, like, I guess Ferrari or something. Why don't we have more shirts and hats and stuff like that that say Kruger on it? But, anyway, the Merlin, let's see. No quantum. It's got one size 2 Tiger Strike and 2 size 1 laser cannons. So, even though it's supposed to defend a ship, I don't imagine it can do a very good job of that. And the shields on it probably aren't that great either. But you're going to look stylish doing it, right? And that's what it's all about. Argo loves to use acronyms in their names for pretty much all of their ships. Very industrial brand, though. They've got that signature orange that just screams construction worker or something like that. But these are really good ships. I'm a big Argo fan. Not enough to bring them in my top 3, though, but I think the ships themselves are pretty awesome. Let's start with the meme ship, the MPUVs, right? Now, a lot of people may knock this ship, but as you can see, it's got Lambo doors. How many ships in the verse have Lambo doors? Let's see, this one here is the Personnel, so this is going to be the dropship variant. These ships, in my opinion, they're very small, they fit in like everything, they'd be pretty awesome because they're fun to fly, except they don't have a quantum, so that's like the big knock on these. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good ship for the price. Although I wouldn't buy it out of the game. I mean, it's just so cheap. Why would you waste money doing that?
Looks like you need a carrier then.
Yeah. But anyway, in this dropship variant one, as you can see, we've got 2 guys climbing in the back. So there's plenty of space to carry people. It's not very comfortable to sit back there, though. You're crammed together and your view's not very good. And as you can see, that guy's head is hitting the ceiling. So, you know, a lot to consider there.
Definitely need to make a bigger.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that these guys are here. But it looks like it's got a docking collar in the back, so, you know, it looks like it's just designed to, like, dock with a serious ship. But
That
anyway.
Cargo bottom where all your crew members can be is detachable. That would be very good.
Yeah, it looks like the design is meant to be modular, right? But for some reason they sell it in 2 different variants. Speaking of the other variant, the cargo edition one is over there, which I think if you're going to buy one of these, the cargo is the way to go. Because at least you can put some boxes back there. But then again, not having that quantum drive means all you can do is really just run your box to, like, you know, your larger ship. But these are roughly the same, except the module down here is slightly different. There is one drop seat in the back, so you can actually carry somebody. And you can see by the cages here that it looks like it's designed to carry some cargo. You know, the ship won Best in Show. What was it? Not this year, but the year before. And you know, it kind of upset some people, but other people, you know, really thought it was deserving of it because in lore, these guys pretty much do all the heavy lifting. They get, you know, they have to carry a lot of cargo back and forth in ports and, you know, from the surface of a planet to, you know, ships like the Hull E that can't land and things like that. So, you know, very instrumental ship. It just, in my opinion, they got to revisit this one though and give it at least like a short range quantum so that you can go from like planet side up to the station. Then I can forgive it for these crazy camera angles when you're inside here. But yeah, fun ship to fly. Definitely rent it. I wouldn't say buy it with real money because they are really dirt cheap in the game, I think. Let's see, these retail for about 233,000 AUEC. I mean, you can get that quite easily in a game. Even somebody with my meager skills can do it. So. Anyway, let's go to the big boys here. Let's see, MOL stands for Multi-Operator Laser Extractor. Let's be honest, they just figured out how to find a way to make mole mean something. But anyway, this is your multi-crew mining ship, and it's a pretty cool one, I think. It's got 3 retractable mining turrets, if I recall. And it is fun to actually do this with a crew. However, the gameplay really isn't there to justify it because, you know, once you go through the trouble of getting your crew out there and, you know, splitting the profits and all that stuff, you might as well have just all gone out there and prospectors, in my opinion. So they need to work on that. But aside from that, just actually going out there with your org and having fun and, you know, just kicking around and cracking some rocks, this can be a lot of fun. Back when this first came out, I remember doing that with a few people and just having a blast. But anyway, Argo's got this very industrial look and feel to it also, which I like a lot. Looks like a cross between a Caterpillar tractor or something like that, and I don't know what else, but it looks very heavy. So, but yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with the mole. Well, at least if you buy it in game. Well, from gameplay aspects, you can go wrong with the mole, but I think the design of Argo, if you're like an industrialist and you like logistics, these ships are great set pieces to have your role-play logistic adventure in. Trying to think of a way to sell a mole. How does a mole salesman do this? He's probably like, yep, got that there new mole. Yeah, what doesn't have in style, it makes up for in function. Let's put it that way. However, this ship here, the RAFT, which stands for Reinforced Advanced Freight Transport, that acronym I like a lot more. I actually do like the look of this ship, even though it's kind of strange looking. But I think the reason why I like the look of this ship is like everything on it is very functional. Like, you can see that docking collar up there in the front makes a lot of sense. It's supposed to be a transport ship. And in the back, you have like cargo containers that get lifted off the ground. So it makes sense that it has these legs that kind of stand there. The ship itself kind of has like a animal stance. But, I don't know. I think like if you're into hauling, and I originally thought all I would do is hauling until you guys showed me some of this medical gameplay. A ship like this, I think, is pretty compelling for haulers. However, I wish it had more than just 96 SEUs of cargo. But the interior of this ship is also one that I think they really knocked out of the park. It's even better than the mole. Let me see if I can remember how to get inside. And it flies pretty decently. I just feel like I wish the cargo capacity was a little bit better. And I wish that this gameplay here with the cargo containers was implemented. Because there's a cool crane past that window where you can actually operate all that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on the top level, okay. So, one of these days they'll actually implement this station here.
Tons of ships that have support ones that would love to see if it works.
Yeah. This is like one of those things where they put out a ship and the functionality wasn't quite there, although you can use it for shipping right now. So, I guess you can use it right now and kind of just wait for them to implement the rest of it. With 96 SEUs, I'm not sure if it's more compelling than just getting a Constellation Taurus or something like that instead.
I would think we'll be able to store more.
Yeah, especially with those 3 large cargo containers. So that was a little bit of a disappointment to me. It does have a bathroom now, and I'm a very big bathroom guy, so if the ship doesn't have a bathroom, I'm not buying it. Yeah, crew areas are pretty nice, though. You definitely...
Yeah, it's more industrial kind of look.
Yeah, exactly, right? You definitely get the feel that this is a ship that belongs in, like, ports. It's not there for, you know, looks or anything like that. Let's say
They're
always
just there
forward.
to get the job done.
Yeah, I'd imagine, well, I was going to say, I'd imagine being a crew member on this might be miserable, but if you're with a really, you know, funny group of guys, I suppose it wouldn't be so bad. The bridge is very close to the one in the mall as far as the way it looks, so I kind of like that. Well, Star Citizen does a very good job of the brands being very consistent with their styles, right? But when I'm inside this one, I feel like, you know, like even though it's got sticks, you feel like you're driving a big rig or something like that. You know?
Makes you feel like you're controlling a crane.
Yeah, I've never controlled a crane, but I suppose you're right. It probably would look like something like this.
Well, it has the cockpit for it as well.
That's true in the back. You definitely have the crane operator back there.
Mm.
And the dual stick configuration is, I suppose that's reminiscent of how many people fly in Star Citizen. I'm an old school Elite Dangerous pilot though, so I'm a more of a HOTAS kind of guy. So the origin layout speaks more to me. Yeah, it looks like we found a consolidated outland room over here. This is the company the Mustang built. I always struggle to say something nice about the Mustangs because I never really liked them. But I'll give it a stab. Yeah, so it's my understanding that the Mustang was supposed to be a disruptive design. Was supposed to give people out in the frontier more options, low cost, versatile fighter. So in order to do that, I believe they used lighter materials and they kind of, you know, threw caution to the wind with some of the safety. but for the most part, it works pretty well. It's definitely, the Mustang definitely has a unique design to me, and it comes in 4 different variants that, you know, satisfy 4 different roles, which is pretty common in Star Citizen. The Alpha, which I believe is back here, is the light freight version. And as you can see with this one here, the freight box has been deployed in the back. It carries a whopping 4 SUs of cargo, but that's not too bad for a starter ship. Really, I only think a few starter ships beat this, like maybe the Cutter or the 135C from Origin. You know, at $30 price range, in reality, it's probably one of the cheaper starter ships to get you into the game. I'm just not too crazy about the style of it for some reason. It just doesn't speak to me. Anyway, it's not a bad starter ship. It doesn't have a bed in it, so I think that that's kind of a big detractor also. But it does have 2 size 1 hardpoints and 1 size 3 nose turret in the front here. So the Delta is the light fighter version. Carries a whopping 0 SUs of cargo, so definitely only going to be using this for entry-level bounty hunting missions. 2 size 2 laser repeaters, 1 size 3 nose turret, and you know, they all fly pretty well. To me, they all fly like light fighters pretty much. But yeah, I guess if you want to get into entry-level combat, this one isn't too bad. I don't have too much experience with flying one of these, do you?
Not my kind of ship.
Yeah, me either. What happened to this guy? What's going on here? Did somebody come through with a gun?
They always do that.
Like, oh no. Yep, so it's the racer, so you're not carrying any cargo with this, and honestly, I don't think I've seen anybody racing these. But I suppose you could. And you'd be sponsored by Kovalex, apparently. The other thing that really sets this one apart is it's got a large power plant and an extra engine, supposedly. Alright, anyway, this is the pathfinding variant. For a Pathfinder, I think it's disappointing that it doesn't carry any cargo. I guess you could say it's disappointing in a lot of different ways. Like this one here, I believe actually has a kitchenette, maybe a bed back there. Let's climb in and take a quick look. But none of it you can interact with because it's kind of weird. They put the ship out and they just decided, hey, you know, we're going to add this stuff in here, but we're not going to actually finish it so you can use it. So I imagine at some point, somewhere really low down in their list of priorities, they must have it so that you can interact with this cabin in here somehow.
I'll probably let you interact with it after the expo.
Maybe. Although I think it's been uninteractable for years. Just not being a very big Mustang guy myself, I don't really know. The Nomad was... I don't know, would you consider the Nomad a starter ship? Some people do, but it's a little bit expensive for a starter ship. Anyway, it's a light freight ship. I believe it carries 24 SUs of cargo, so for a ship of this size, that's pretty good. It's the pickup truck of the verse. It can hold a rock in the back, which makes it pretty unique at this size point to be able to do that. And I believe the HoverQuad is also supposed to be the complementary vehicle to this. Let me see if I can lower this flatbed in the back here. I always get the rent when I want to interact and do other stuff. There we go.
Damn.
So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the nice gimmick about this ship is you can drive your vehicle up here and then lift it up. So for a ship that is almost a starter ship, I would say it's just a slight step above a starter ship, especially in pricing, just a little bit more, but you get that ability. And then the interior is kind of luxurious to me. Well, it's quasi-luxurious. It's definitely made for being on the frontier. You get like a nice little living space here. Nice little bed, kitchenette. There's even like, I believe a seat comes out here. So you can be sitting down, pondering your plans. All right, for some reason I can't interact with it, but trust me, the seat comes out. Then you got your cabin here. And the reason why I said this is kind of luxurious is that pleather seat looks kind of premium. Kind of rivals something that you would get with Origin, in my opinion. But it definitely looks like this is for, like, you know, your cowboys and, you know, your guys, your rugged frontiersmen. That's an interesting design. I just don't like climbing in and out of this ship. That's my one knock on it, probably. I feel like I waste a lot of time doing that.
I'm definitely gonna rent it.
There was a lot of speculation that this is actually meant to be an alien ship because it uses hover skis to land on, pretty much, instead of actual wheels. But you would think in the future that all vehicles would probably hover like this, right? Instead of having to actually pull out tires that need to be changed and all that stuff.
Rotational pads for maximum maneuverability here.
Yeah. Low friction, whatever. Alright, so that covers that one. I don't think there's anything else.
They're HoverQuad.
Of course, I've been talking about Greycat, and the HoverQuad from Consolidated is down here greeting us. I like this one a lot. It's supposed to have extra stability because you got the 4 hover, whatever you call it, engines on the side. Why can't I sit down on this? Anyway, you've got storage on the outside, as you can see here. And it's supposed to be the complement vehicle to the Nomad, so it's supposed to go on the back of the flatbed perfectly.
Eyelines for full gravitational pads for maximum mobility, making it perfect transport across all kinds of surfaces.
There you go. Carries a whopping 0 SUs of cargo, but it is a bike, so what do you expect?
You might be able to fit one box on there.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Maybe if you had like cable ties or something in the back. It's a really great design though, and you can service all the components on the outside. I just wouldn't buy it outside of game. I'd just buy it in game because it's only 88,000 credits, so that's pretty, you know, reasonable. Oh, nice.
I actually own that.
I think everybody owns a buggy, right? At least at one point in your life, you're gonna have a buggy, and you know, I think even if you purchased it, it's fine. You're gonna get your money's worth because these things fit in pretty much like everything, and they're a lot of fun to drive. They're just, I mean, it's kind of goofy, but it's fun. PTV is basically just for, you know, I think it's mainly used for navigating around hangars and stuff like that. Or you could drive it on the streets. Brand new STVs are here. Yeah, the sport
upgraded version.
Yeah, the sport terrain vehicle, or STV. This one's more geared towards racing. However, you can carry, I believe, 2 SEUs, or is it 1.5 SEUs of cargo back there?
Oh, 2, because it has 2 cargo slots here.
Ah, there we go. I haven't actually used it successfully for any box missions, but I'm sure that ability's out there. And eventually they're going to release the UTV, which is like the all-terrain vehicle at some point. Hopefully that's coming out next year. I like the STV a lot. It's a lot of fun to drive, small footprint, so it fits in a lot of different things. And here we have the Greycat Rock, which was like the first ground mining vehicle. Let's see, what does ROC stand for again? Remote Ore Collector. This one is, I mean, it's kind of cool, but you know, you need to have a vehicle that's large enough to fit it. And sometimes it can be a pain because you're like, okay, I gotta load it in my ship and then fly around and get on out. But I guess the whole point of it is that it was designed to get minerals that are too large for hand mining, but too small for ship mining. But it handles pretty well, and those big wheels pretty much get it over everything. And then we got the Rock DS, which is its larger sibling. This one is an interesting one, and let's be honest, it's pretty much useless. I don't know what they were thinking of here. I mean, you have the driver in an enclosed cabin here, so they're protected from the elements. But as you can see here, as you're going to demonstrate for us, the miner isn't protected from the elements. So they're pretty exposed. And then anybody who's done some rock mining, I think you know that sometimes you have to move inside and out. You have to like get a little bit closer and back, and I just imagine that this one would be a huge comedy trying to work together as a team. It does sound like a good episode, though. But the other problem with this one, too, is that it's larger. It has a larger cargo capacity, which is nice because you can stay out there longer. But only certain ships are going to be able to carry this one. I should say even less ships can carry this one, because you're already kind of limited by what ships a standard rock will fit in.
Looks like we only have the display hall over here left.
Yes.
Looks like a fleet carrier.
The Pioneer. Yeah, this one is interesting. Probably sold out already, so not really much to worry about actually trying to buy this one. But it does look like a carrier. The Pioneer is basically a construction ship. So it's meant for constructing housing and outpost buildings and that sort of stuff on the frontier. So this is going to be a valuable ship to have, especially for those logistical orgs out there. And I would imagine every org is going to want to stake some claim to some planet or space out there. And if they don't have one of these, they're probably going to be contracting an org that does have one of these to build their settlements. It carries about 600 SUs of cargo. It's designed for a crew of 4 to 8 people. It can also defend itself a little bit. It's got 2 man turrets and 2 remote turrets, so it should at least be able to get there safely. Pretty good commercial with this one, but it's been, you know, I think it was announced like 5 or 6 years ago, if I recall correctly. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see this one anytime soon, because it doesn't make sense really to release it until a lot more galaxies are out there and we can actually settle areas. But you know, it is a colonization ship, so it's definitely a cool ship in my opinion. I'm just not sure I would add it to my hangar yet.
This is self-contained mobile construction yard. Is capable of creating planetary module structures, underherd a new wave of aspect colonies to customize their new homes on the frontier.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm imagining you'll find a stake of area that you want to settle or whatever, create like a player city, kind of like, I don't know if anybody around here remembers Star Wars Galaxies. Guilds and whatnot were able to like create player run cities. So I'm imagining they're going to be implementing that style of gameplay in that same spirit. But yeah, they'll probably have some blueprints of certain homes that you can construct and whatnot, and it's probably going to be a big time sink and a lot of mining and stuff like that to get all the ores and materials. But yeah, it's one of the things we like about Star Citizen, right? You don't necessarily have to be a pirate or a combatant. There's going to be a lot of different professions out there. Which one is this called? The STV, I think? SRV. Getting them all confused. But yeah, this one's basically going to be the tugboat in verse. It's got some tractor beam units in the back. I don't know too much about this one because I didn't bother to study it too much because it's not quite out yet. And I'm not sure the gameplay is going to be that much fun either, but I suppose for those that are going to be interested in salvaging, or if your ship gets disabled somewhere in space, you may want somebody who has one of these to tow you out, get you out of that jam. I'm not sure being a tow truck driver appeals to me, but it does have 10 SUs of cargo also, so I guess you can do some light hauling with that eventually. And it looks like that's going to do it for day 6, right? I think for entertainment purposes, let me take a look at the prices of what's out there today and see if there's anything that I think would be a good buy. All right, let's kick it off with Argo. All right, the mole at $315. This used to be a lot more fun when it first came out. To me, right now, where mining's at, and the fact that once you split the money and everything like that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm not sure spending this kind of money out of game makes sense for me, so I'm going to call it a bad buy. I think you should probably go after a prospector and work your way up to this one. So we're going to kill that one. All right, the MPUV Cargo, the meme ship of the century. You know, it's not that expensive, but it's also not that useful. You know, after you fly it around for a little bit, I think the charm kind of goes away, and these are extremely cheap in-game. So this one's going to be a bad buy for me. I think you can buy this one in-game, and you'll probably feel better about it because there's not a lot of mileage you're going to get out of these. Same thing goes for the MPUV Personnel at $40. Bad buy for the same reasons. All right, the RAFT at $125. It's not terrible at this price point, but I do think you're going to get more mileage out of a Cutlass Black, just because you'll be able to store some vehicles inside of it. So technically, I mean, you know, the guilty pleasure guy in me wants to say this is an okay buy, but I think it's going to be a bad buy based on the fact that there's not a lot of value that you can do outside of just purely hauling cargo, and there's some other haulers out there that, you know, carry more cargo. So I'm not really sure at 96 SEUs running out to buy this one, unless I really, really like the style of the ship. Alrighty, let's move along to Consolidated Outland. Alright, the HoverQuad at $30. This was a great LTI token, but now that it's not LTI anymore, we're going to have to call it a bad buy. I think you can do better finding tokens. And the in-game price is very affordable for this one, so just buy it in-game. You know, it's a great hover bike. Mustang Alpha at $30. This one might be the winner for the Consolidated Outland lineup. I'm going to call it a good buy. There we go. Had the guys laughing there for a second, but we're going to cheer this one on as the best buy of the day, I think. Because really, for $30, you can pretty much say that you bought the game, right? Because you don't really need to get those starter packages. All you need to get is just one ship that you can fly in game, and you have the whole game. So I think at $30, that's a good deal. And it does carry 2 SUs of cargo, so you can at least do some cargo running and stuff like that with this. So if you're on a budget, I don't think it's a bad option. Mustang Beta, I don't think it's compelling enough. As a Pathfinder, I wish that it carried cargo, so down on this one, gonna give it a bad buy. Moving along to Delta, for those that want to get into entry-level combat. Not a bad ship, but at $65, I think you could do a little bit better. I forget what the Origin 125A goes for, but I kind of prefer that one over this. Maybe it's my Origin bias. So I am going to give this one a bad buy. Alright, moving along, the Mustang Gamma. This is the racer. You know, it's really only compelling if you're a racer, and at $55, I think I would go after the other racing ships over this one. So we're going to call this one a bad buy. We have to give some booze. The Nomad at $80. This one's actually pretty versatile. It's pretty compelling. It doesn't carry as much cargo as a Cutlass Black, but it does carry some vehicles in the back. So at $80, I think I'm actually going to say that this one is an okay buy. It's a little pricey, you know, but stick with me. You can carry some cargo with this guy, carry a rock, STV, some other ground vehicles. I don't think it's terrible. If this is the only ship that you buy in the verse, I think it's good enough to start you out in pretty much any career. Anyway, the Pioneer at $850. Yeah, this is a bad deal for a lot of reasons, but I'm really down on the fact that we don't know when this gameplay is going to be in the game. You might die waiting for this, so I think you can spend that $850 somewhere else. Heck, I mean, just for, what, $30 more, you can get an 890 jump, so something to consider. Actually, $40 more. Sorry, my math is off there. You can buy an 890 jump for $890. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap it up for Consolidated Outland. Actually, eked out a buy there. Alright, Greycat Rock at $55. This is a great ground vehicle. You know, you can make a lot of money with the Rock, but it's also fairly inexpensive in game. So I think this is a buy-in game at 55 bucks. I don't think you're getting enough value. You know, you can get a cutter for that price, so we're going to definitely give this a bad buy. Alright, the Rock DS. Yeah, you're getting booze on this one. And it's also a bad buy at 75 bucks. I don't know too many people who actually use a Rock DS and are happy using it. I don't think it's a very good design. And, you know, again, when you're with two people, you got to split the profits. Why not just take two Rocks out instead? I think it's a much more comfortable experience. And so far, the gameplay isn't in yet. I mean, I think this was designed to actually go in caves and stuff like that, but that's not really a thing right now. So if you're going to spend 75 bucks, I mean, just spend $5 more and get a Nomad. Get a lot more mileage out of that. Alright, the STV at $40. Not a bad price for what this is. But, you know, it's a ground vehicle. Ground vehicles are very inexpensive in game, and there's not a lot to do on the ground outside of racing. So we're going to give this one a bad buy. Bad buy. Great for your vehicle, though. I do recommend you rent it or you buy it in game. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for Greycat. We're just left with Kruger. This is going to be a really easy one because Kruger only has 2 ships. Remember we said that they need to add some more ships. 25 bucks for a Merlin. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that's a great deal, only $25. But there's not much you can do with this ship. It doesn't have a quantum, and you know, it's not like you can carry any cargo with this. It's pretty much useless unless it's just a snub. This is definitely something I think you should buy in game. This one out of here. And unfortunately for the Archimedes at $35, also fairly inexpensive. But you know, I mean, if you have $35 laying around, I mean, and you're okay with buying it, I mean, hey, you know, more power to you. But logically speaking, I think it's a bad buy. So boo to you, Kruger. I want Kruger to give me a ship finally that I would consider buying. You know, we need a Kruger starter ship, some sort of luxury Kruger starter ship. Plus, I also want to see somebody else challenge Origin luxury field. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the deals. Discord. For everybody else, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. 07.